running the hurry up. Tons of news around the NFL. It looks like they avoided bad news in Baltimore.
Lamar Jackson left practice a couple of days ago after getting his foot stepped on. They x-rayed it. Apparently it came back okay. He didn't practice yesterday, but head coach John Harbaugh telling reporters there in Baltimore that they avoided a major problem. He said prayers get answered sometimes. So it sounds like full steam ahead for Lamar Jackson. We'll see when he's able to get back into practice. Travis Hunter, the Jaguars rookie, who's going to play on both sides of the ball in the NFL just like he did in college. He's been missing practice time with what the team describes as an upper body injury. Not going to play in the Jaguars preseason finale, but head coach Liam Cohen saying yesterday that it's just about getting him ready for the regular season, and that if it was a game that counted, he would be able to play. And another rookie, first-rounder Derek Harmon of the Steelers, left last night's game with what Coach Mike Tomlin said afterwards was a knee sprain. They're sending him for further testing today. We're awaiting word on how severe that injury is. It sounds like he might have to miss some time just because we're so close to the start of the season. But stay tuned on Derek Harmon, a big part of the Steelers' plans on defense
Absolutely.
this year.
That would be a terrible shame for a team trying to get off to a fast start. They play that fascinating opener, Aaron Rodgers at the Jets, his former team. Meanwhile, speaking of Rodgers, the former Steeler quarterback Ben Roethlisberger predicted back in May the Steelers would win 11 games this year. Then he went and watched Aaron Rodgers at camp. He now has a different prediction. Listen.
Watching Aaron work, he threw one pass, and as he was starting to walk over to me, I was like, man, tell you what, one thing doesn't stop working, and that's that arm. Like his arm looks good. And at some point before the season starts, I'm going to go back through my book, my football notebook, and I might have to readjust my pick for the season in wins and losses.
So we've heard that from a couple of different places. People see Aaron, they see how he throws the football, and they think to themselves, wait a minute, he's a lot better than we were expecting. Now, in fairness, that was never going to be the issue, right? His ability to, when he's 65, he'll be able to sling it. There are some guys who are like that. The question is, you were paid to watch every snap of Jets football last year. Do you believe that with better coaching, and it couldn't be worse than what the Jets had last year, winning around the margins, probably a better team and everything else, that Aaron Rodgers is still good enough to carry this team to more than 11 wins?
Absolutely. And I've been on this, and I was saying, hey, I believe the Jets should have kept him because he's a year more removed from the Achilles injury. So now he's back to being who he is. And listen, that's not the only report, hearing from Ben. Willie Colon, who I do the Jets postgame with, is a former Steeler who went down there and saw the same thing. He's the biggest Aaron Rodgers skeptic. He came back and said, bro, he back. He back 100. And if he's back to a quarter of what he was before, then 10-7 Steelers last year, I think his plus his WAR would be 2 games.
Brooke, you're there every single day. For those of you who don't know, Brooke is our Steelers reporter. So you've literally watched every second of his time there. Does it look as good on the field as someone like Ben is suggesting?
It does and it doesn't, right? Because, yes, the arm talent is great, but that was never the question. The question is, he took so long to sign. He has to have this expedited chemistry with the offense, and that wasn't always there in training camp in Latrobe. I can't remember a signature deep shot that he completed to DK Metcalf or anybody else down the sideline. And maybe that's not going to be his game this season. He obviously doesn't have George Pickens. If he did, maybe that would be different. But I think that the question is, how much can he move? How mobile is he going to be? Can this offensive line protect him? None of the questions are, can his arm get the ball there?
And I think also the Achilles is important. And a year removed from that does give me a little bit more confidence because I think we are fascinated with his arm talent. But we have to remember, Aaron Rodgers at his peak was one of the creative guys, was one of the guys who get out of the pocket, who he's not a runner necessarily, but who used his athleticism to create angles and create big plays. So if his Achilles is better, obviously he's not going to go back to 28-year-old Aaron Rodgers' level of athleticism, but enough to create some big plays. And I think what is inherent in all of this is that we're expecting the Steelers to be better support for him and him not to have to be MVP level.
So I did an essay yesterday here on the show. Nick, you were here, obviously. Brooke, you were here as well. It got a lot of reaction online, which I loved. Some people agreeing, some people strongly disagreeing. That's the beauty of this. There were 2 stats that jumped out to me that I think were the most important. The first one I can show you, D20. Since Big Ben Roethlisberger left the Steelers, they are 17-2 in games in which they don't turn the ball over. Right. Aaron Rodgers has the lowest interception percentage in NFL history. I know. I can hear you, and believe me, I saw you in your responses. The last couple of years, he has thrown more interceptions. He has to be the Aaron Rodgers who doesn't turn the ball over for this to succeed. The other stat, and Bart, you know this one better than anybody. Mike Tomlin always wins games that are decided by 6 points or fewer. He's won 65% of those games. Right. The Jets were 0-7 in those games last year. That's the stuff around the margins. Right. That's where the coaching makes the difference. Rodgers had them that close, and they weren't that good, and their coaching was, to be fair, inept. This is not. This is the opposite of that.
And they don't need Aaron Rodgers to be MVP Rodgers that he was before. They just need him to be able to make the play, get him in the right play with his football acumen, and be able to get them in the right situations to be successful. So the percentages, they're going to lean on his defense like the Steelers always do. But now you have a guy that when you look over and you see Patrick Mahomes, you see Lamar Jackson, you're not afraid because you got Mason Rudolph behind you and going against you, saying, hey, I have a guy that can maybe find a way with his football acumen, his skill set, and his experience to exploit the defense.
Yeah, I mean, I think the pressure that we're putting on Aaron now is not the same that was being put on him before, which is why we're high on him. But I do still think that obviously the coaching matters at the end of the game, but the quarterback matters a lot too. And the question is, like, we were excited about Aaron Rodgers in practice last year and excited about him in practice the year before. Of course, the injury threw it off. So I think they'll be the Steelers, so they're going to be around, whether they can take that step to be further, and also the expectations.
Right.
They need to win a playoff game.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, it would be worse, though, if we went through all of this and practice was terrible. Right. I mean, he is passing all the tests that are being put in front of him. He's trimming everyone. He's trimming Ben Roethlisberger. That's not easy to do.
I think they surpassed the Bengals in the division.
Oh, yeah.
The Bengals
I mean, they were way ahead of the Bengals in the division last year. We got 2 championship games at the Little League World Series tomorrow on ABC and the ESPN app. We have the international championship game between Chinese Taipei and Aruba. Then the U.S. championship between Nevada and Connecticut. The winners will face off on Sunday. Coming up, last night will forever be the night that it went completely off the rails. Jerry Jones telling the tale. It is absolutely nuts. Don't miss it. Next.